If a Roman gladiator found rust on his sword, or a farmer lost his vineyard to blight, they could easily blame one thing: their wife being on her period. And the craziest part? The entire Roman Senate genuinely believed them. Think about this. For hundreds of thousands of years, half of the human population navigated this biological reality every single month. Yet mainstream historians will dedicate 40 pages to the masonry techniques of Roman roads and barely a single sentence to how women survived, worked, and thrived during their cycles. This is not just a story about hygiene. It is a multi-millennium history of female survival, innovation, and resistance against some of the most absurd misconceptions ever recorded. Today, we go back in time, from the papyrus reeds of ancient Egypt to imperial Asian courts and the sacred moon lodges of the Americas, to uncover how ancient women actually managed their periods. Let us start with ancient Egypt, arguably the most pragmatic civilization on this topic. The Ebers Papyrus, a medical text dating back to 1550 BCE, documented gynecological health openly. To the Egyptians, menstruation was never a curse. They connected the female cycle directly to the life-giving annual flood of the Nile River and the goddess Isis. Women were never treated as biohazards. So what did they actually use? Egyptian women turned to softened papyrus fibers, weaving them into lightweight, absorbent pads. Wealthier women used folded linen rolls, soft, breathable, easily washable, and remarkably efficient. Now, cross the Mediterranean to Greece and Rome, the cradle of Western philosophy and some of the most spectacular biological misunderstandings in history. Aristotle claimed that menstrual blood was simply failed semen. In his view, a woman's body was too cold and weak to produce fully formed seed. Then came the scholar Pliny the Elder. He wrote that a menstruating woman could wither crops just by walking past them, blunt iron blades, turn wine into vinegar, and drive guard dogs completely insane. Yet, while men wrote absurd theories, women focused on practical reality. Greek and Roman women crafted pads from boiled wool. Across the Mediterranean, they harvested natural sea sponges. These sponges were soft, highly absorbent, easily sanitized, and endlessly reusable. Despite the bizarre myths around them, daily life never stopped. While Western scholars viewed the female body as an imperfect version of men, traditional Chinese medicine approached it as a complete, balanced system. As early as the Han Dynasty, physicians treated the menstrual cycle as an essential vital sign, reflecting the flow of qi and blood. In daily life, women invented the moon belt, or Yujing dye, the direct ancestor of modern sanitary pads. This was a tailored fabric belt tied around the hips, equipped with an inner pouch to hold soft cotton, folded silk, or clean plant ash. From imperial concubines to farm workers, this modular design gave women comfort and mobility. Beyond hygiene, women faced another monthly reality: dysmenorrhea, menstrual cramping. Long before the invention of modern painkillers, ancient women turned the natural world into a pharmacological laboratory, and their remedies were remarkably effective. First, mugwort. Prescribed by Asian physicians and European herbalists alike, modern pharmacology confirms that Artemisia extracts contain active flavonoids that relax uterine muscle contractions and reduce inflammation. Next, ginger and cinnamon. Used across Asia to warm the body and boost circulation, active gingerols in ginger actively inhibit prostaglandins, the primary chemical compounds responsible for painful spasms. Finally, chamomile and fennel. Greek and Roman women relied on chamomile tea as a natural antispasmodic and fennel to ease pelvic tension. These were not random folk rituals. They were the result of centuries of empirical observation, tested and refined across generations. Here's a fact that surprises almost everyone. The modern disposable menstrual pad is barely 1 century old. In 1888, the first commercial disposable pad was launched, Lister's Towels. It was an immediate commercial failure. The problem was Victorian social stigma. Women were simply too embarrassed to ask male pharmacists for it over the counter. Everything changed in 1921 when Kotex repurposed Cellucotton bandages from World War I. They launched a campaign framing menstrual care as an essential health standard rather than a source of shame. Looking back across thousands of years, one central truth stands out. Women were never passive victims of their biology. In every single era, despite technical limitations and social stigmas, they engineered practical tools, perfected herbal medicine, and supported one another with quiet resilience. The next time someone treats this as an uncomfortable topic, remind them Cleopatra managed this, Roman matrons managed this, medieval peasants and indigenous leaders managed this. It's not an embarrassing detail of human history, it's the foundational reason the human race is still here today.